that there's such a high percentage that this
I know.
is it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Jack really wants to test on day 5.
I'm changing my answer to 7 days.
What's going through your mind the night before we test? I'm so anxious right now.
Think it's gonna be a success?
Don't look at it. Don't look at it.
I can't help it.
You really feel that deep in your bones? If it's not, it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't see anything on that.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Oh, I was ambushed.
We don't have to talk about like how sad we were or anything like that. It's just like logistical
Tactical
updates. Exactly. Like what are we doing when I almost stopped my meds? That type of thing.
Gotcha. So logistically, I'm gonna grab my coffee.
Okay. And hello, my friends. Today is Monday, and I'll be more clear about the exact timeline of things once everything kind of wraps up with this cycle, regardless of what that means for us. But all you have to know, it is Monday, and we tested on Friday, and we were absolutely devastated. We're not entirely ready to dive into all of those feelings or talk about how devastated we were. It was just a very depressing couple of days. Cried more tears than I thought I even had in me.
Definitely.
Definitely. Both of us. That goes for both of us. But in my heart, and did you feel this way as well? Just like you saw that negative like across the board and you're like, oh, it's over.
Oh, I saw the first one.
Yeah, I have not watched that footage back. I can't bring myself to do it at this point. But like, I think I just audibly was like, oh, and just knew. There wasn't even a shadow, you know what I'm saying? So I think we just completely counted ourselves out, and I gave my nurse a call just to let her know and asked her if she wanted us to stop the medications, because this is our first go at this. You know, we don't know the logistics. We just think like, okay, at this point in time, at 7 days past our transfer, from watching all of these other people online testing and getting these lines that keep progressively getting darker and what they should roundabout look like at 7 days, and then not seeing anything, my thought is there's absolutely no way it worked. There's absolutely no way. And so called my nurse, devastated. My mom, unexpectedly, completely unexpectedly, had driven as soon as she got the text over to us to give us hugs, and so we were just hanging out with her. I got to show her my embryo picture for the first time because we just had this dream of ours to surprise my parents, you know, with that news. So they didn't even know that we had transferred. No one on this earth besides us and the clinic knew that we transferred on the day that we did. But she was there. She was comforting us, distracting us. We were laughing together, crying together. Then my nurse called back, and I really wish that I had recorded it, but my mind was obviously in other places, and I appreciated the way that she very carefully worded everything. Basically, don't stop your meds, because the levels that they can detect within a blood test on Monday, again, we tested on Friday and today is Monday, the levels in which they can detect on a blood test are a lot more sensitive. And I knew that in the back of my mind, but I'm like, if they're not even being picked up, like even a shadow on a pregnancy test, like it didn't work, you know, like that's what my mind was telling me. And I asked her, I was like, and is that helpful for you all to know, even if the levels are really low? And she was like, yes, it's very helpful, because we can know if anything implanted, if anything happened, if nothing happened, and like that can determine their recommendations going forward, what to do for next transfer, just to try again, etc., etc., etc. She also was very careful in the way that she worded this, but she basically said that because the blood test can detect levels that the at-home test can't, she has seen, and there is a small possibility that we have a false negative. Very small possibility, you know, but it's something that they do see. I don't want to say that that gave us like this huge glimmer of hope, would you say? Like,
yeah.
It's not like we were like, oh my gosh, thank God. I still woke up at 3 a.m. like during that like following night, like sobbing. And then like going to do your pio shot the next morning, feeling deep in your gut that this didn't work, but still having to take these shots and to take these medications was like a sorrow that I can't describe right now. It did give us just something in us to just not completely lose sight of what this might mean, even if it's just finding an answer as to like why it didn't, or if it did initially and then it just didn't continue growing, right? Like it was nice to hear that. So then we distract ourselves all weekend. We do some retail therapy, Jack's idea, and it was great. Got this sweatshirt from the retail therapy. Do you guys like it? And even when I just didn't feel like leaving the house, every time we did, it was always the right decision. It was just really great, very distracting. We went to Freeport, the outlets, and
Oh my gosh, guys, they were taking huge turnings in our relationship. Did you see that?
What, baby?
There was a pig flying.
Baby! I love you.
I love you too.
So Beta was this morning, and my blood lady saw us. She knew exactly, obviously, why we were here. We love our blood lady. I don't know a lot of couples that go back there together for blood work, but she was the one that told us initially, like, hey, he can come back if he wants to. Jack is always coming to my appointments with me, and so we've both gotten to, like, know our blood lady, which is really nice. She asked us how our weekend was, if we were, you know, anxious, you know, distracting ourselves. And we were like, yep. And she was like, now, did you test before? And I was like, yep. And she was like, and I was like, it's not showing anything. She was like, well, I am crossing my fingers for you. You never know. And I'm like, you're right. That's what my nurse said. I was wondering if I should stop my medication. She goes, no, never stop. Like, she was like, it's not common, but we do see cases where, you know, they thought it didn't work, so they stopped their meds, and then they come in for their blood work, and there was something, like a little something. So you just never want to wonder if, you know, you should have kept going, or you should have kept doing your regimen. So it's just nice. It was nice to hear those things. With that said, going into today and like waiting for this official phone call, I'm not anxious. I'm not excited. I feel a little numb because for me, we already got our negative. So it just feels like either a confirmation of a negative, but you know, does that make sense?
No, that resonates.
Yeah.
It's like there's a small little chance.
Exactly.
But yeah, it feels like it's just officially confirming what we already know.
That's how it feels, but there is a small chance in the back of my mind.
Man, talk about the greatest surprise ever.
Oh my God.
I might actually start liking Mondays.
I would like Mondays forever.
Yeah, would you?
Yes. And then our little one would come and I would be like, you know why Mondays are amazing? We found out that you existed on a Monday.
When we didn't think you existed.
When we thought you had not liked mommy's tummy and you were like, nope, not for me, I'm on my way out. But yeah, that's kind of how I would describe how I'm feeling today. I always like kind of going with like a cutoff. You know, it's like if it's this, I'll be happy. If it's at least this, I'll be hopeful or whatever, right? Like for our egg retrieval, our second one, knowing that we got 4 the first time, I was like, if it's 6 this time, I'll be pretty happy with that. And then we got 10 and I was like elated, you know? But I think knowing the different levels of what they consider a pregnancy or not, even if the level is low, if it's a 25 or above, I will book that as a miracle. I will book that as a miracle, and that there is definitely a possibility, although rare, that the levels will continue rising how they want them to. We shall see.
Is there anything like delayed implantation? Is that like a thing?
I have no idea.
Like, are they like, they do like a whole sweep of the uterus and they're like, yeah, the hardwood floors are nice, but the cedar shake siding, not for me.
And then they decide, they're like, it's good enough. I'll live here.
Yeah, oh, well, that's a better stick. Here we go.
I don't really have another option if I want to keep around here. If you guys had what you would consider or you thought of as like a late implantation, or your HCG levels were low at first and then it ended up being good, let us know. Let us know in the comments below. Let us know for anyone else that's out there in our situation reading the comments, just to give them a slight bit of hope rather than like complete loss of any hope whatsoever.
Hey Jack, so just calling with today's results, and unfortunately I'm not calling with good news.
Okay.
That test result was negative today, and I know when we spoke on Friday you had taken a negative test, but we kind of talked about the different scenarios that could happen.
Yeah.
But unfortunately the test is negative today.
Okay, was it like what does that mean? Is that like 5 or below?
So we consider anything that's less than 1 to be negative. Your result today was less than 0.1. So if that level was above 1, like even if it was 2 or 3, we would technically consider that positive and repeat that again on Wednesday, because we can't say exactly when implantation would have occurred. So sometimes that level can be low initially because implantation occurred later than we anticipated.
Okay.
But unfortunately, we're not detecting any of that.
Okay. Do we think the implantation just didn't happen at all then, you think?
It's more than likely that is the case, but I know you have a follow-up with, is it November 11th?
I think so. I kind of blocked out that phone call because it was the day of my transfer. I was like, don't give me bad vibes. What are you doing?
I know, it's hard. Like, why am I scheduling a follow-up? I don't even know
I know, but yeah.
So what I can do, because the 11th is a ways away, I can she's out of the office. She left at 2, but if you want to leave her a voicemail to see if we can get you in sooner, if he has had a sooner opening, or put you on the cancellation list.
Okay.
Just so that we can, continue to move forward.
Right.
I assume that you guys would want to do another cycle?
Yeah, we would. My next question would be, we'd want our insurance approval. Should I give a call, or is that something like she'll see in the system and she can put in for it?
So I'll let Doctor know that you guys want to move forward with another transfer so that he can put in a treatment plan, so that way he can submit to your insurance. So that doesn't hold us up as far as timeline goes.
Okay, fantastic. And with that treatment plan, would it change at all? And he'll just let us know when we talk to him, or
yeah, so I don't know what he would put in for specifically, if there would be any changes or not.
Okay.
I would be able to let you know that once he did put in the treatment plan.
Okay.
And then you guys would be able to discuss it further at your follow-up cycle.
Okay.
We're going to have you just continue the medications.
Mm-hmm.
I would anticipate starting a period within 7 to 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And the sooner you can talk to him, the sooner you'll be able to proceed.
Okay, no, that sounds good. Let's go ahead and get the treatment plan in just for insurance purposes, and then I can email or give a call and see it and get us on a cancellation list.
And if you have any questions between now and the time you hear from her or myself, don't hesitate to reach back out.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, you're very welcome. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
It's less painful than hearing it without us having tested. But it's still really painful.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't look at it in the portal and see that,
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm so curious, what that means,
what
that
the fuck?
reading.
What do you mean?
That level.
It's literally just completely negative.
Yeah.
Nothing was ever put in.
Right, and I think I'm that's exactly it. I'm curious what happened to it, what insight doctor can provide.
I wish it could go in with a camera, I wish the embryo had a GoPro attached to it.
Oh, imagine.
A microscopic GoPro, so that it could be yep, it definitely went in, it was chilling, and then it just never hatched, or it never, oh, that's the problem, it didn't hatch. It did, and then it tried, and it wasn't strong enough to implant. This period's gonna be the worst period of my entire life. Like, we just went from like the best period of my entire life because it means that we get to transfer. And this one is just gonna be the suckiest thing I'll ever experience.
I'm gonna get you so much chocolate.
Thank you.
So much raspberry, tea leaf, cranberry juice.
Yeah.
I'll have your heating pack and Ovira ready.
That sucks.
It does.
That really sucks.
Yeah.
I'm just confused.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing. You know, like absolutely nothing. Like, you grew so strong outside and then like you just didn't want to, you know?
Oh.
Like inside, like you liked the lab, but you didn't like me.
That's not how it works.
Like the environment wasn't very good, or, you know, I'm just so confused.
Maybe it liked your environment too much. And then just dug so deep into that peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Well, now I feel like I can just move on with my life.
On to the next.
But I wish it was like on to something different. Yeah. Hello, my friends. Hello, hello, hello. A bit of time has passed since that last clip of finding out officially that our first transfer did not work, and honestly it's because I could not film or verbalize any thoughts that I had, and honestly those clips probably wouldn't have been very productive if I'm being honest. I wouldn't have been able to get through any of it, but I've got a cozy lamp here. The lighting's a little wonky, but it does feel cozy, and even though some time has definitely passed since those moments, I did jot down some notes of just how I was feeling or some thoughts that I had during that time of just complete grief and complete disbelief that this didn't work and what was going through my mind. And I thought that it might be helpful to share those things out loud because I know a lot of you all are probably going through similar things or have gone through similar things, and it might just be comforting to share those with you, as depressing as these thoughts might be. So that is why I am here today. Plus it always feels good to talk through, you know? The first note I have says, I feel numb, sometimes purposefully numb because I'm tired of feeling. And I remember that. I remember going through stages of complete and utter sadness and anger and confusion, and then not wanting to feel any of that anymore and just shutting it off and purposefully tuning into numbness, like literally not feeling happiness, sadness, grief, just pure numbness. And that was really bizarre, but the feelings almost became too overwhelming to experience anymore. The next thing I have is, this is the closest to grief of losing somebody I have felt since losing my grandparent, and that's a big one that I think I didn't necessarily expect, because we clearly, after 2.5 to 3 years of infertility, now know what it feels like to want something and hope for something so badly for it to just come crashing down with a negative pregnancy test. But the difference here is that I'm still working through it, obviously. I don't think I'll ever get over it. The difference here is that we had a physical thing, like every other time that we have either done trying naturally and trying different things associated with that, or even doing our IUI cycles. There was never a physical thing that we knew existed that was a mix of both Jack and I to lose. And I don't think I fully understood how different and how leveling that would feel, losing that, or understanding that we did have something physical that exists in this world to lose now. And that was the hardest part of this not working. I feel like you hear of transfers not working all the time, because you know they don't work all the time, and they do work all the time. But when you hear that, it's just like, oh darn, her first one didn't work, but she has all of these other chances, or you know, first one didn't work but the second one did. And that's kind of all we hear. And we know that deep down, a transfer not working, like, that must be really hard for people, but it's so much more than just hard. That's the words that I could describe it. We finally had something to lose, literally physically something to lose, and that was very, very difficult. It was more difficult than I could ever have prepared myself for. The next note I have, it says, how is the world continuing? God, I haven't looked at these notes in a minute. I said, how is the world continuing to move and expecting me to move with it? And that's a very similar feeling that I think a lot of people can relate to when losing a loved one from this earth, because when something so devastating like that happens, it's so strange to watch the world continue to function and continue to spin. It's so weird to see people going about their lives and going to work and driving on the road and shopping at Walmart and all of these things. It's so weird to see life move while you're just expected to move with it, but your world has stopped. That was a very familiar feeling, because I have lost loved ones, and it was the exact same feeling. I said, it's the strangest feeling, needing to work through grief and loss, but also knowing that there are next steps to try again. And I said, I don't know how I'm going to be able to get there. I remember observing that when you lose someone, a loved one, a grandparent, when we lose them from this earth, that's it. You know, you lose them, and you have to figure out how to work through your pain and your grief and move on in life. And I think what was so weird and strange to work through is we lost someone of ours and the potential of who that person was going to be. But the weird difference is that when you lose someone, you lose them, right? And that's it. They're gone. And that's really difficult, but there's a point and you work through that. But losing somebody like this, it's strange because there is a next step. You know, when you lose someone from this earth, you can't bring them back to life. So there's a finite end. And with this, no, I can't bring this embryo back. But we have 5 others that we can move forward with. And to be able to go from this state of grief, of loss, onto being hopeful and focusing on the next steps to move on to the next embryo was a very confusing and conflicting feeling. And I never thought I would ever get there at all. But I'm happy to say that with every day past that beta result, I have been able to get there. There have definitely been a few setbacks, and I will be sharing those in the next coming vlogs. There's been a couple hiccups for sure, but I've been able to find peace every day, and with every day moving forward, because there are next steps to focus on. In the end, it was a good thing, and in the end it was an ultimate distraction and something to look forward to, and that was really, really big during these really dark times for us. But yeah, in this moment we are okay. And like I said, I have a few things to share after this, what we've been up to in life after our failed transfer, what those days have looked like for us, and also some medical things and things to look forward as far as next steps and what we'll end up doing for next steps and everything like that. So I'm excited to share those with you all. I wish this video was different. I really, really do. And I don't know why. I don't know why we're going through this. But just know that your kind words and your support has meant more than you'll ever know. And I feel really lucky to have that. in both my real life friends and family support and just the endless comments of kindness. You guys have shown me nothing but kindness and compassion, and that's all I can ask for right now. Wherever you are in your journey, I'm sending you all so much love, and I'm sending you all so much support back. This is not easy. And it's not fair. None of it is fair. And in these moments, and especially the last few weeks after finding out and confirming and all of that, it just doesn't feel like this will ever work out. And the feeling of hopelessness is higher than ever, and it's clouding everything. But I know that people have gone through what we're going through, and I know, deep down, I know that they have their miracle baby, and it's beautiful, and I just can't help but feel like that's not going to be us. It's really easy to feel like that can't happen for us when we've never experienced a positive pregnancy test before. Another thought that I had was there are people out there that don't acknowledge infertility as a diagnosis, as a legitimate medical diagnosis. However, we have been trying different treatments and different things naturally on and off for 2.5 years, and we legitimately took the components that make a baby out and physically controlled them to put them together in a lab to create life that is 5 days old, and then put it back into the optimal environment, and it still didn't work. People still don't legitimately think of infertility as a legitimate diagnosis, or they don't understand the gravity of it. That's another thought I had. It was an angry thought. It's not a very positive thought, but it's wild because this is so real, and I would not wish this upon literally anybody, including those people. I wish that this vlog was different, and I wish that I could tell you that I feel like everything's gonna be fine. And even though every day I get closer and closer to feeling more hopeful, today and this time right now sucks. It just does. But I love you all so much, and I thank you so much for being here, and so much for watching, and so much for just listening to us and experiencing this with us. I really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe if you're new for all of the updates to come with our next steps to baby. I'm just gonna put that energy out there. I love you all very much, and I will catch you in the next video. I'll see you guys later. Bye.